Welcome back. For today's Business Matters, we have none other than Don Ma with us here today. Don, it's good to see you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that lovely introduction, Chris, Fiona. Good to see you guys.
What's happening?
Yeah, so actually there are a number of things. So let me go over to the wall here and get started on today's stories. So homes on the market in the US, but not much demand in that housing market. So that's why US single-family home prices fell overall in June on a monthly basis. This is based on data from the Federal Housing Finance Agency. So this fall in price was attributed to higher inventory of homes for sale and elevated mortgage rates. So new housing has also reached a level not seen since early 2008. Some areas actually saw home prices grow, though, according to S&P's Home Price Index. New York, San Diego, and Las Vegas saw the largest growth in June. So a quick one on the housing market. So it seems like another central bank is zeroing in on government deficits and how it impacts the economy. The European Central Bank is calling out excessive government spending. A policymaker said that it is making it harder to lower inflation, adding that governments need to rein in spending to make new downturn budget rules work. This follows Brazil's bank chief noting how government deficits and debt are contributing to inflation. And by the way, this is a topic that US Fed Chair has typically distanced himself from. Ryanair CEO Michael O'Leary said today that Boeing's new management has not met his expectations. So that's in terms of aircraft deliveries, which are in fact behind schedule. The airline now expects to receive only 20 to 25 of the 737 MAX planes before next summer, and this is lower than the anticipated 29 which were planned. But O'Leary said that the risk of a significant drop in average fares this summer has stabilized. Ryanair's fares fell by 15% last month, and this came after O'Leary warned that airfares could drop more than 10% during the key July-September period. He now says a fall of 5% looks reasonably accurate. Let me talk about this as well. Another investment in American semiconductor technology. The U.S. government plans to award HP $50 million to expand and modernize its facility in Oregon. The Commerce Department is saying that the proposed funding will support life science technologies used in artificial intelligence. And this will also help partner institutions, including Harvard Medical School. The funding is part of a subsidy program for U.S. semiconductor manufacturing and related components. Now, the department is still working to finalize the award and the amount, though. Okay, UBS Global Wealth Management says the odds of a recession in the U.S. has increased to a 25% chance. The brokerage raised the likelihood because of softer job growth and unemployment data from July. It's still standing by its case for a soft landing, but described the outlook as cloudy. The revised prediction puts UBS between JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs on the probability of a recession by the end of the year, with JP Morgan on the upper end. A senior UBS economist says that continued income growth will be critical to keep spending up. Now, it turns out nearly half of the people on New York buses are actually riding for free. So the Metropolitan Transportation Authority released the numbers for the first part of the year. It revealed the problem is actually much worse on city buses than on its subways. The authority reported a loss of more than $300 million from lost fares on buses alone in 2022. And according to the New York Post, the MTA will be deploying fare inspectors inside buses and at bus stops. Fare evasion is a charged topic. Some are upset people aren't paying, and others feel rides should be free, and unions are concerned about driver safety as well over enforcement. So independent restaurants are feeling the strain as the economy takes a toll on their businesses. Let's now go to NTD's BJ Kang with more on how one chicken wing restaurant is coping with these challenges.
As inflation has forced fast food chains to raise workers' salaries and caused a surge in food pricing, we talked with a local restaurant owner to ask how the economy has been affecting independent eateries such as his.
My name is Tommy Sue. The restaurant name is La Baracha Hamburgueseria, and I'm a partner. We're a chicken wing and slider concept. Well, the economy has affected us greatly in terms of staffing, supplies, ingredients, and all that. So we had to pivot and just either increase our menu lower the hours for our staff, or even close earlier.
Tommy explained that although they weren't dealing with issues of server pay or retention, they were definitely impacted in other critical areas.
Our concept is very simple, so it doesn't require a lot of skill set, but fortunately we haven't had to let go anybody. We try to maintain the same quality, but supplies is a little bit scarce right now since a lot of the economy has affected a lot of the food establishments. So we try to maintain the same quality, but sometimes that's hard to do.
He further went on to explain how they've been forced to make tough decisions, spurred by price fluctuations.
Yes, we had to get rid of several menu items, and then we also created new ones.
Okay, well, which menu items did you have to get rid of, and why?
Our barbecue chicken, it just also, the increase of ingredient pricing, and also it wasn't a customer favorite as well.
What sort of items, what sort of ingredients here at your restaurant have you seen the most price fluctuation for?
Definitely the vegetables that we use. Let's say if it was $2 a pound, now it's like $3 a pound. So.
And how many pounds would you say you buy in like a regular order of like those vegetables?
Probably like 50 pounds. If we increased by $1 a pound, we either had to increase our pricing, our menu, or figure an alternative.
We then asked what actions they've had to make in order to stay in operation. Were they winging it?
We actually had to pivot and open our restaurant to be a shared kitchen, shared commercial kitchen. So we have other food pop-ups come and rent our space. So, yeah.
How many other food pop-ups have had to rent your space in order for you to, stay stable?
We currently have 3 to 4. Yeah, so another thing is we are converting our space into a processing center, and we are about to get certified.
Have you heard of any other restaurants or sort of local businesses who've had to do similar things with their kitchens or perhaps operations?
Yes, definitely. I have many friends that own food establishments, and they had to pivot as well, same as what we're doing.
Despite the worrying economic conditions, Tommy says he and his co-partner are confident their out-of-the-box thinking will keep their business intact. BJ Kang, NTD News, El Monte, California.
And Chinese e-commerce giant Temu today blindsided investors. Parent company PDD Holdings reportedly missed revenue and a gloomy outlook. This is a result of consumers cutting back. In China, money is tight from high unemployment and a weak property market. CEO Chen Lei says consumers were once really attracted to its bargain prices. They're now being more thoughtful. He says shoppers are looking for a balance between quality and value. So stunned by the news, investors responded with one of the biggest selling off days of PDD. So that's $55 billion in market cap wiped out. And at last check, PDD remains in the red today. Now, a song you heard everywhere during Hong Kong's protests against the Chinese Communist Party back in 2019. That is Glory to Hong Kong. It was then outlawed by local courts after the CCP called it a weapon. But now the song's artist says platforms like Spotify, for example, and Apple Music are removing the song worldwide. Let's now go to NTD Sean Marshall for the story.
A song the Chinese Communist Party said had to be stopped. The unofficial national anthem of the Hong Kong people. Now its writer says the song is being canceled around the world. Apple Music and Spotify have reportedly taken down the official version of Glory to Hong Kong worldwide. When we asked them why, they didn't respond. One publicist says this is the first time he's heard anything like this happening in the music world.
Why would the US and other countries, why would music distributors, give in to this and say, okay, we'll take it down? And I'm just curious about who had a conversation with who, here in the States and other countries to make that happen.
Glory to Hong Kong was written in 2019 during mass pro-democracy protests. The Hong Kong people rejected being ruled by the CCP, and they sang the song at demonstrations every day. To suppress the people, the CCP forced a highly challenged national security law. Chinese Communist Party then labeled Glory to Hong Kong a weapon, and the island's courts outlawed it.
They're so worried about that track over there that they see the power of that song, the power of music to, create a difference.
The song's artist says the censorship is not limited to that one song. DGX has entire albums of protest music, but it says Apple Music has not approved their release, and they don't know why. An American distributor hasn't said why it removed the track. A distributor in the UK took it down after getting a court order from Hong Kong, and a Canadian label removed it after their legal team was worried about risks to their company. DGX says it's simply disappointed the distributors did it because the Hong Kong court's order clearly violated human rights. DGX also said that they're struggling to find another label to carry the song, but you can still listen on YouTube and Ganjing World. Sean Marshall, NTD News.
And now quickly onto markets. All three major indexes ended higher today, but heavyweight tech-related stocks were mixed. So now the focus is on upcoming results from NVIDIA, who, by the way, is the chip maker at the center of Wall Street's rally in AI-related stocks. As well, investors are going to be looking at the personal consumption expenditures data, or PCE, due out on Friday for additional hints on the potential of rate cuts. And we'll cover that for you guys as well. So yeah, that's about all the stories I have for you guys and our viewers for today's Business Matters. Chris, Fiona?
Don, thank you so much. You know, I'm thinking about that story about Glory to Hong Kong, the song Hong Kongers were singing, protesting the CCP in Hong Kong in 2019. The CCP labeled that song a weapon, like your story was saying. I thought that was interesting because it made me think about how the Chinese Communist Party employs what's called asymmetrical warfare tactics, where they view virtually every field of society as a field for war and for taking down their enemy, which in many cases is the United States, attempting to become the global hegemon, taking power away from the US in this century.
And just adding to your point, this isn't the first time that we've seen something like this, where Western nations caved to pressure from China. We've seen that with airdrop. This is a function between iPhones where you can send files over Bluetooth. Apparently, Apple reduced or limited the ability to do airdrop functions due to pressure from China.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And even in the most recent, the Olympics in Paris, since I believe the 1980s, Taiwan, all the way up until now, Taiwan hasn't been able to compete with their own country's flag or play their national anthem during medal ceremonies or even use the name Taiwan. And it's really this trend of the Western sphere trying to appease China, communist China almost.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of examples of this, I think.
Right, and it should be, I don't know, a little unnerving at the very least, because China is run by a regime, the Chinese Communist Party, that's charged with committing 3 genocides at the same time right now.
Right, yeah, that's definitely the case.
All right, Don Ma, thank you.
Thank you.